Zoom recording. Hola.
Hola,
Hola, ¿cómo están?
estoy bien. ¿Y usted?
Okay. Estoy bien cansada. I'm really tired. No.
Yo
No, we just
entiendo, yo entiendo.
sí, sí. No. It's been a good week. It's an intense time in education, so we've been doing a lot lately, but it's been good. It's been good.
Oh, that's good. That's
Good. I'm
good.
glad to be here.
That's
Uh,
good.
when I get to be with y'all, since this is like my passion project, I have so much fun with it. Hola, Kahea. Well, Kahea can't hear us. I mean, she can hear us, but she's muted. So,
Okay, okay,
yeah, so she's here in spirit. So, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and continue like normal. I know tonight a few people messaged me and let me know that they weren't going to be able to make it.
okay.
Um, let's see here. Okay, I get notifications when people get. I had me into. I had to be on, but I'm able to listen in. Okay, see. Okay, good. So I get messages, and I'm looking at the messages from
Okay.
Kahea just sent a message, and she said she's able to listen in, but she had a meeting. And then there were a few people that weren't going to be able to make it tonight. I know Laura Lee couldn't make it because she had grading to do. That's due
Mhm.
tomorrow. Tasha's things are crazy. So I was like, okay, we'll just go ahead and continue, and I'll upload it so people can see it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this week, let me turn up my volume.
Let me give me a minute. I need to step away for a minute.
Yeah, no problem. Zoom the recording. So this week, what we're learning is all about vacations, okay, and what you would say on a vacation. Now, remember, since this is a conversation course and it's kind of like a crash course in conversation, a lot of what we'll learn is one-way conversation. So what you have to communicate to someone when you're kind of in a clutch or in a situation. Okay, so I know the video yesterday was it just went out last night, and so I'm going to go over some of that with y'all today, and we're going to be able to practice it. But first, we're going to go over what we've already learned. So in this course, in the last 2 weeks, we've already gone over needs and obligations. So like what you have to do, what you need to do, likes and wants. We've done greetings and responses, days of the week, and then sentence frames with days of the week and numbers up to 39. So even though we've done little chunks here and there, all the chunks come together to make a big chunk. And the more we go through the end of this week and next week, you'll see all of that come together. All right, so our goals for today, we have 3 main goals. We're going to have a reflection time where we think of what we've already learned. We're going to do that at the end. We're also going to review session 3A, so the video from yesterday. We're going to review that content together, and then we're going to goal set for week 4, since that's our last week together. Does that make sense? ¿Está bien? Okay, good. All right, so this is all situational Spanish for vacations. Specifically, let's go past we're gonna go past the pronunciation routine because I know y'all and I know we can do that. I know our time is a little bit gone. So we're gonna go right into our conversations. Okay, so our conversations that we're doing for this week are I have to go to, tengo que ir a, we have to go to, tenemos que ir a, or al, and then I'm going to and we're going to, voy al, vamos al, and then one that we hear all the time, ¿dónde está? Okay, so with these, and we're going to practice in a minute, but with these you'll have the, let me get my pointer. You'll be able to use these stems and easily put in a location to be able to say, I have to go to the hotel. We have to go to the beach. I have to go to the office. Things like that. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is click out of here and go into our document. So one thing that you'll notice with this lesson, this session, is that we have a document that supports it so that you can kind of use it as your cheat sheet. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, I know, let's see, my mom, Erica, okay, Kahea, I know you can't kind of respond. Erica, how much vocabulary do you have with like locations? Do you
I
know a lot of locations?
I know all of these on your document.
Okay, good. That's good. I'm so glad you know these. So you're familiar with these along with the tenses?
The tenses, so what do you mean by tenses?
Or
Like
the formats, the like, I'm going, we're going, I have to, we have to, so voy, vamos, and
yes.
then, okay, all that? Okay, so tomorrow when we get together, we'll practice past tense, some things that you've already done and what you're going to do. So we'll talk about that. So today, what I want you to focus on specifically is just your pronunciation, like how it sounds. That makes sense?
Okay, so past tense, I don't have past tense. I have present tense.
Okay, good. Okay, so now I know what we need to focus on together when we do our specific conversation time. So what I'll have you do is I'll have you hang around a little bit. I'll have my mom and Kahea hang up at the end of this, and we'll chat a little bit so we can make specific goals for when we have our individual conversation time. Make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so during these, for the purposes of this session all together, I just want you to focus on your pronunciation.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to practice saying these things repeating these things together, okay? And these are things that you can memorize. I know my mom somewhat knows some of these as well, but the most important thing is making sure that we remember what the tenses are, because not tenses, but what the conjugations are, so that that doesn't get lost in translation, because that can be a big thing. Okay, so we're gonna go over those. Voy a la casa.
Voy a la casa. Voy a la casa.
Sí. Vamos a la casa.
Vamos a la casa.
Good. Okay, so when you go to different places, you may hear the V and the B sound the same. And so you may hear it it may sound like voy a la casa y vamos a la casa. As well as when people continue to talk, a lot of times they'll cut off the S sometimes. So vamos a la casa. Sometimes those sound really, really close together. You're like, what? Can I get you to point to something? So the more you practice, the more you can train your ear to hear it. Okay, so let's do a couple of others. Voy a la iglesia.
Voy a la iglesia.
Voy a la iglesia.
Good. Vamos a la iglesia.
Vamos a la iglesia.
Good. Okay, and the more you say it, the more it can continue to kind of just flow together and go together. Good. So y'all's fluency sounds really good. Let's try some others. Vamos a la oficina.
Vamos a la oficina.
Good. Okay, y'all will notice that I'm saying it pretty fast, like I would say it with a native speaker, because I know that y'all's pronunciation is pretty good. So kind of when you're practicing through, kind of practice saying it at a fast pace so that it can flow with your conversation. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Voy a la escuela.
Voy a la escuela.
Vamos a la escuela.
Vamos a la escuela.
Good. Okay. And then let's try a few more. Voy al parque.
Voy al parque.
Muy bien. Vamos al parque.
Vamos
Vamos
al
al
parque.
parque.
Muy bien. Okay, and we'll do something. Voy al restaurante.
Voy
Voy
al
al restaurante.
restaurante.
Muy bien. Vamos al restaurante.
Vamos
al
al
restaurante.
restaurante.
Muy bien. Okay, so that's I'm going, and we're going. So then I have to go to, and we have to go to.
Ujú.
Typically tengo y tenemos are just easy to say. Tengo que ir, tenemos que ir. So we're not gonna keep going over that for these purposes, just because I know that y'all's pronunciation is really good. One of the tips that I have is that when I already know the language, but I want to practice more, I'll still just practice it aloud. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Mhm.
Because the more we practice it, I'm telling you, it just gets better and better.
Mhm.
Okay, so those are our frames there.
Mhm.
Tenemos que ir. Okay, okay, so our last one is ¿dónde está? Okay,
Mhm.
so how about y'all can alternate reading these aloud? Erica, can you start? And then Mommy,
Okay.
can you follow?
Okay.
Okay.
¿Dónde está la casa?
¿Dónde está la piscina?
Muy bien.
¿Dónde está la iglesia?
¿Dónde está la playa?
¿Dónde está la oficina?
Oficina. Muy bien.
Ujú.
¿Dónde está la escuela?
¿Dónde está la ciudad?
Muy bien hecho. Okay, because ciudad, that the way you pronounce that was really good because they're soft D's. You know, the de sound is very
Mhm.
soft and it sounded really, really good. So muy bien hecho, Erika. Okay,
Gracias.
Mommy, go ahead.
¿Dónde está el hospital?
El hospital, muy bien.
¿Dónde está el parque?
Oh, that should be it. It's easy. That's right. ¿Dónde está el parque? Okay, Mommy.
¿Dónde está el cine?
¿Dónde está el mercado?
Muy bien.
¿Dónde está el medicio?
Médico.
Médico.
Muy bien.
¿Dónde está el hotel?
¿Dónde está el restaurante?
Muy bien. Oh my gosh, y'all did really well with the challenge words with pronunciation. Restaurante is more difficult too, just because it starts with an ere, and it's just more difficult to say. So really, really good. Muy bien hecho. Okay, so I know if y'all can do those well, then definitely y'all can do the other two frames very well. Tengo que ir, tenemos que ir, voy al, y vamos al. So muy bien hecho, muy bien hecho. One quick tidbit. This past weekend, I went to a Mexican restaurant with my husband, and I was just ordering, and I wasn't just trying to speak more Spanish or anything, but you know, it's just sometimes it just kind of lends itself to the conversation. So I just ordered, you know, a sandwich or something, and the waiter was kind of like, "Oh, you speak Spanish?" I was like, "Oh, yes." And then my husband was like, "No, she speaks Spanish. Say something." I was like, "Oh gosh." And he said, I was like, "I'm not doing tricks." But he said, "Well, just order my food for me." So I literally just said, he wants 3 steak tacos. So I said, él quiere 3 tacos de bistec. And the waiter was just like, "Oh my gosh," you know, he made this face and he was just like, "How did, you know, why did you want to learn Spanish? Like, how do you know?" And all this stuff. I'm like, I told my husband once the waiter left, I was like, "I only said 4 words. Él quiere 3 tacos, well, de bistec." You know, it was just 6 words. So, but what that told me was, one, pronunciation is super important. You know, I didn't say some big thing, but the pronunciation by itself can tell someone how much you like really care for the language. Then number two thing that taught me, as well as some other experiences that I've had, is that once we connect with someone like that, or once we are able to speak Spanish, then that tells them that you really care enough to learn their language. And it's like an honor. Many people say that it's like an honor for them. So it can really give you a portal into the world. So even if you don't know all the words in the world, just taking enough care to, you know, have that good pronunciation and say what you can, y'all can figure out the rest. but that says a lot. Okay, so don't be afraid if you get stuck, or if you get to a word and you're not sure about, or something like that. Just doing that can take you far. Okay, so now let's do a Q&A really quickly about when you, Erika, I know you said one of your goals is to be completely fluent next year. What types of situations do you typically use Spanish in, or would you like to use Spanish in?
I would definitely like to use Spanish in restaurants, grocery stores. I go to a international grocery store often, and most of the cashiers are Hispanic.
Okay.
And when I'm shopping, or even if I'm in the airport and someone needs help and they only speak Spanish. I've been in that situation twice. And so I would really like to interact with the Spanish community as much as I can.
Okay, good. So that helped me just know a little bit more about you. So some of the things that we learned, like necesito, like I need. Okay, tell me what you need. And then also knowing the places where you have to go, where you have to be is very good. And then numbers and subjects, like when you're in the store, things like that. So we can definitely work on that. And then there was one other thing that you mentioned the restaurant, store, airport. Yeah. So those things can help. When you're at the airport, what do people typically need? Is it like they have a health issue, or they need directions?
They need directions. They want to know if they're in the right location, if they need, do they need to go somewhere else? One lady was just yelling, "Does anyone speak Spanish?" So she could get directions is what she wanted.
Okay.
Also, I plan to live in a Spanish-speaking country when my husband retires next year. So we plan to move to a Spanish-speaking country. So I would like to be able to engage as much as I can.
Okay, good. Okay, so definitely the things that you said will definitely help to guide our conversation. We'll have one-on-one, but then also, do you watch or how often do you watch like Spanish TV or Spanish programming? How does that go for you?
So I probably watch a movie once a week when I have time. But I have not yet found a Spanish television station. I don't know if it's because I don't have cable or what I need to be looking for.
You know what? There should be. Where do you live, Erika?
In Virginia.
Oh, you live in Virginia. Because in Texas, even with no cable, there's at least 4 Spanish stations, at least. But you know what you can do though? You can look up Spanish programming on the internet and look up popular shows on YouTube and watch them for free. So anything that you like, and this is for anybody, anything that you like to watch typically. So like I like cooking shows, I like morning shows, I like kids shows. I would look those things up and then see what's popular and watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
So if you like drama, like my mom likes to watch Jane the Virgin in Spanish, right, Mommy? Do you watch the last
Jane
season?
the Virgin?
Yes, I watched it. It was so good, and I loved because they would have all the subtitles under there, And so you could see the words while they were saying them. And
I'm gonna write that down. Jane the Virgin.
yeah, the last they're doing a six episode, what do you call it? A sixth season, and it starts in February.
Oh, yeah. Is it on Netflix or something?
Yes, it is.
It was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It's like a telenovela, but it's
American. I mean, it's telenovela style, but it's primarily in English, but they have it in English and in Spanish. Or you can watch it in English and have Spanish subtitles.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they say different things in Spanish sometimes, and you can watch it in Spanish as well. So it's really cool. That would be the other tip I was going to say. So to continue to work on fluency in general, it's always good to watch Spanish programming. So find a show that you like and watch it. And put the captions on. So if you are a beginner in Spanish, then just listen. And you'll be able to pick out words that you know and be able to pick up on some different things. If you're more of an intermediate learner, then listen with also the captions. So like when I watch Spanish programming, I read the captions. And then, I'll find new vocabulary that I didn't know, or just different, like, how you and I talked about, what did you say? Agade?
Yes,
command.
Yes.
The command that you learn different stuff, so definitely put those on. So mommy/Barbara.
I have a funny anecdote. It's not an anecdote. I mean, an interjection here. A lot of my parents of my clients are Spanish speaking. And so yesterday I was at this little boy's house, and I think he forgot that I'm not a native Spanish speaker. And he was rattling off, because I interject Spanish words throughout the session, but he was telling me like a whole paragraph or something. So I said to him in Spanish to repeat it more slowly, because my Spanish is very limited. And his mother, who does not speak English, started laughing. And she speaks really, really fast. Her Spanish is so fast, and she has an impediment, by the way. So it's really hard to understand her. But I knew, she understood what I said, because she started laughing. Because I said, I said, Giovanni, repitan otra vez, muy despacio, para mi español es muy limitado. And she started laughing.
She probably started laughing because you're animated. You said it just like that. And that's good.
Me, I don't speak Spanish. You can't do me like that. And then another parent, I had not met the dad before, because he's usually not there when I come to see the baby. He's at work, but it was raining that day, so he was at home because he works, does construction or something. And so I introduced myself. I've talked to him on the phone, but I'd never met him. And so I said, "Oh, Dad, me gusta es mío." And he didn't want to talk to me, because he knew he didn't speak English very well. And so he was like all shy, and he was like, "Oh, my English is not good." And I said, "But my Spanish isn't good either, so you're going to help me, and I'm going to help you." And so I've been using Spanish more when I go to their house with Mommy, because I told her, I said, "I'm learning Spanish, my daughter's helping me, But that was the first time I had met the dad. And so he was very reluctant to talk to me, because he thought his English wasn't good enough. And I'm like, "Well, my Spanish isn't even better than your English."
Yes.
So it was a nice little interchange with them. So my parents are helping me.
Yes, that's what it's all about. So I'm glad that we were able to share, because you were able to not only talk about what your goals are for next week. So I know, Erica, we're going to get together so that we can work on extending your Spanish into the different tenses, past tense and future tense.
Yes.
Mommy, what we're going to work on with you is to work on the specific things that you don't know yet that you want to say to your parents, so we can get a script for you. Kahea, I know we're going to work on specific things that you want to, because sometimes it's okay let me say this, it's okay to memorize some things that you want to say that you say over and over and over again. It's completely okay. So if you have certain things that you say all the time, or that you want to say, it's okay to memorize. I'm a bilingual, I'm a I'm an instructional coach to other teachers, so I teach them how to teach, basically. But when I started teaching, I was a bilingual teacher. So I'm a certified bilingual teacher in the state of Texas, and I did it for 7 years. So when I started, however, when I started, even though I knew many things in Spanish, there are still many things that you don't know, right? And so there are certain things that I needed to know that I hadn't used anytime, like get in line. Well, of course, I knew sit down, get up, wash your hands, drink some water, just commands that you use every day. So if there are things that you use every day or that you want to use on a regular basis in a Spanish situation, it's perfectly fine to memorize those things. And then when you get up in a conversational situation, you'll not only have that, but you'll be able to acquire more language as well, just like my mom just did with her parent. Okay, so anywho, that's about the end of our time today. Let's see, that's about the end of our time today, but those were really good key things. Remember that the whole goal of learning a second language in general is to connect with people that you wouldn't normally be able to connect with, right? So you're always going to be learning. Always going to be learning. You're always going to be extending your language. So always think about, hey, what's something else that I can do to continue practicing, because we do get rusty, and then to continue extending. I love what you said, Erika, about wanting to connect more in specific situations so you can help people. And mommy, I love what you said about how you connected with the dad by saying, hey, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. We'll come together and we'll have everything together. So that's what it's all about. So, okay. So, Erika, we will converse. Let's see. I think I'm running out of my literal time. We had such a good time that I'm running out of time on my Zoom, so it may cut me off.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we'll make sure to email a time either Wednesday or Thursday, so I know Wednesday is tomorrow. But either one of those, so we can get our conversation time together, because I want to send you some of the conjugations beforehand that you would probably use, so you can kind of work on it a little bit. Okay. So we'll have that before we get together. All right, ladies, we've had a great time tonight. I love being able to get with y'all and be able to coach and consult. And I will see you next time, all right? Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.